Clearly, the citizens of this land never learned how to swim.
I mean, that's how it goes.
The horses don't work, and neither does swimming.
No horses ever.
Well, the beta will be good to go ahead and try out those first couple hours of gameplay, right? Your
Yeah, for
strategy.
sure. So, like I was saying, I mean, that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing in beta is making sure that I'm getting an efficient leveling route and kind of the plans on what I want to do and see where we're sitting at as far as leveling goes. So I know it's at 5, so I'm going to start our meeting here. I appreciate everybody that was able to pop in and join us. Again, I know that it is Labor Day weekend now. I know that. When I originally set the meeting, I totally spaced that it was Labor Day weekend. So I know that you guys have family stuff going on. Some people are planning on going out of town or whatever. So I will do my best to make this meeting as fast and efficient as possible. So I really do appreciate you guys popping in, hanging out. So we'll kind of go over everything. I am glad to see a bunch of new faces in here. So we're kind of doing a meeting more so for that because a lot of you guys that are still in here from when we were on Sanjiva and everything, you're pretty familiar with what our plan is, but we have a lot of new faces and a lot of new people that were asking us exactly what we're doing for beta. So we'll go over the majority of the stuff we're going to do. There is a text channel called Meeting Room Discussion. So if you have some questions or, I'm touching on a subject or whatever, you can't talk or whatever, feel free to post it in there. I have it up on my second screen, so I will do my best to answer those questions as they pop up. And then we're also going to kind of like make notes on it for all of the new people coming in. So again, the channel is not voice activity. It's push to talk. So if you are muted right now, if you have the little mute icon, it is only because you are set as voice activity. If you take that off, your microphone will be unmuted. I don't want to hear a bunch of gravel chewing and cats and dogs and stuff while we're trying to be efficient and quick going through here. So I appreciate it. The first thing, I know a lot of people were asking, we are going Covenant for launch. We've always recruited under the Covenant name, but it is only more specific, like confirmation as of late. It's just going to be better for the servers. The servers that we've checked out for beta and launch, they're going to be really balanced servers, and it's going to make it just that much more like efficient to be Covenant because we're going to have a better chance at fighting people and having more fun like that. Because if we went Syndicate or Marauders or whatever, we'd never fight anybody. That's at the end of the day, that's just what it would be. If we went one of those factions, we'd never have anybody to go up against. And I don't know about you guys, but that just does not seem very fun. Like fully removing that aspect of the game is not how I want to play. So we will be going Covenant, but Amazon Studios has said they have multiple updates coming out. So they've talked about the possibility of faction swaps, either forced or encouraged. I don't know what they're going to do with that, but they did mention something about property or territory being seasonal stuff. So kind of like battle passes in games, maybe like every 6 months or something, they might wipe the map or they might change up, factions or possibly force a faction swap or something. So I don't know exactly the plan for that is, but I know for a fact that if you want to get the achievements and you want to get all of the titles, you do eventually have to go to a different faction and all that. So we are starting as Covenant. I don't know what will change in the future. I don't know what kind of updates they're going to make or anything like that. But for the start, we are Covenant. That'll make the most sense for us. It'll be the easiest to get everybody in, and it will provide us with the most fun. PvP and PvE, all of that stuff. It's just, I think that it's going to be the best route, and everybody that we've talked to so far is okay with going with that. If you are like,
you guys have all probably seen that the green and purple is like way more popular than Covenant, but the fact that we have so many people even before we start, and we're just going to be recruiting it after, it means that whatever server we go on, we need a large population in the opposite factions for across the aisle from us. So that's kind of why we went with it.
To answer your question, Splint, the server that we are going to go on for beta is going to be different than the server we go on for launch. So I'm not going to say the server that we're going to go on for launch right now, mainly because we have a couple in mind and we want to make sure that everything's good. The server for beta is going to be the Gemina server. We looked at that on the last beta. It had the best balance as far as faction balance, and also the territory distribution was the most even, was the most balanced. The other reason that we want to go on that server for beta is because that server was fairly non-toxic as well. So for those of you that were with us on Sanjiva, you know that that server got a little toxic towards the end. So we'll see how it goes. But again, this is a 3-day beta, so it might change how the servers are. This is obviously going off of how the beta was. And then the live launch, we are going to be choosing one of 2 different servers that we have in mind, because on those servers it was the same. It was a really good balance of faction, a really good balance of territory. But the other thing is we already made company connections over there. So the benefit to that is it's going to make it to where the server health overall is much higher. So companies that hold land that we don't hold, they're going to do different upgrades than we do. And that's going to be super important so that we can progress the server as a whole quicker than the rest of the servers. So overall, that's going to be a super benefit to us and to our faction just in general across the board. So it's going to be really good that we are working with them and kind of already making those connections. So I know that toxicity in a PvP MMO, I mean, absolutely, you're going to run across toxicity across the board, right? I mean, anywhere you go, you're going to have somebody saying something. But, I guess it really kind of comes down to where you draw the line of toxicity. So that kind of brings me to one of my points here. I don't care. I mean, for those of you that have seen our chat, I don't give a shit if you're cursing and saying whatever in Discord and saying that kind of stuff in game. The things that we don't like in Discord, obviously, no like racial slurs, no like anything that is kind of along those lines we don't want. Ideally, politics is not something that we really focus on. If you want to talk politics with people, by all means, go for it. I'm totally fine with that. That's a situation where you should either talk in voice or kind of like DM back and forth. We are a very large group of people, so the likelihood that we are all the same exact mindset on politics and religion and whatever is very slim. So we're here to play this game and have a super awesome time. I'm not trying to log onto this game and read politics all day in Discord. You know what I mean? So try and keep that out. But as far as like going to war with people and all of that, I don't care if you're telling them that you had intercourse with their mothers and whatever, like you're swearing at them. I don't give a shit about that. That does not bother me. It's PvP. I understand you're trying to get under people's skin and whatever. I 100% get that aspect. Be careful with what you say in voice and chat in game, because Amazon is already banning people for that. So I can't tell you how many times we saw people getting banned in beta. So one, I don't want to be associated with somebody that is just yelling out a bunch of racial slurs in game. But also, I don't want to have to worry about taking you to a war and having you get banned because of whatever you're doing. So please keep that in mind. I mean, again, if you want to tell them you had sex with their mother and whatever, I don't care. Go for it. I mean, it's PvP at the end of the day. I'm just saying be careful about what you are saying in chat, because they are
typical like racial slurs, homophobic slurs, sexist slurs, etc. I mean, just common sense stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I have not run into that with anyone in this Discord, anybody in this channel right now. I have not run into that with any of you guys. But I will say I did see that on the Sanjiva server with certain people, and they were very quickly banned because Amazon has people playing and they have people monitoring that chat. So just be careful about that. Our goals for the beta are basically 3 things. is what we're working on. The first one is getting territory as quickly as possible. We obviously want to get territory day one, not only in beta, but this is launch as well. We want to get territory immediately, as quickly as possible, day one if possible. This beta, the secondary goal for that is we're going to try to push for a war as quickly as possible. Now that's going to be tough because the beta is only 3 days, and usually you have like a period of time where you can prep for wars, and that's like 24 hours, like 18 to 24 hours. So getting the territory and then declaring war and all that stuff, that's going to be like a 2-day process. So that's why we're going to try and do it as quickly as possible. But I want as many of our guys to see war as possible. So that's what we're going to really push for. But it is only 3 days, and 2 of those days, if we are really cranking right off the bat, I mean, it's gonna be tough. Like, it's gonna be a tough thing to do. So for beta and launch, we are gonna push really hard for donations right out of the gate. I don't like being the guy that is asking for gold constantly from our company and all of that stuff. It is a means to an end, though. We have to get donations in. It is unless they change it for launch, but as of right now, they have not changed it. It is 100,000 gold per territory that you buy, and then after that, it is 5 to 10,000 to upgrade certain things, and then it gets higher and higher, and then also you have to pay taxes and upkeep on that. So not cash donations to my PayPal. I'm strictly referring to in-game gold donations. So we're definitely going to be asking for those pretty hardcore for the first couple of days. After we get our first couple territories, the passive income from taxes and all that stuff is going to be rolling in. And then at that point, it's going to be the company's job to help you guys out. I know that I've talked to some of you, but we have specific companies under Toast that are going to be dedicated to farming and crafting, and they're going to be funneling gear towards our endgame players and PvP and all of that stuff. So if you are a farmer and crafter, and that's all you live for in the game, that is totally fine. That is a huge part of what we need. But if you are somebody that is going to be rushing towards endgame, you're going to be working towards PvP stuff, that's great. We have people that are going to be helping us with that. So the first few days are going to be hardcore gold donations so we can get that territory. But after that, it's going to be a situation where we are going to be helping you with resources, gear, consumables, whatever you guys need. We're going to be helping you with that. Obviously, like houses and all of that stuff. So
Really quick, Splint, I did see your question. Yes, we did that during the beta as well. We would reach out and establish connections with other different faction companies, on friendly but competitive terms, and we'd arrange a big skirmish. So one of us would choose the area, we'd choose for how long it would go on, and then we would just go at it. So for like 2-3 hours, it would just be like a huge PvP battle. So I'm sure we will be doing that again. Cooper and I have been establishing connections with opposite faction companies to sort of start things off on a civil tone and make sure that we have the crafting stations upgraded and sort of alternating so that we aren't upgrading the exact same crafting stations, but also to establish things like skirmishes and whatnot, keep things fresh. It shouldn't just be that war is the only place we get large-scale battles. We'd love to see some large-scale skirmishes, even some dueling bracket stuff where you get down to like one winner and that winner gets a prize and things like that. So yes, there will be large community events that happen. I'm assuming that for the first couple of weeks after the game drops, though, that we'll be just focusing on leveling and crafting and things like that. But after that, we'll be implementing all of these really cool big events.
Funky and Crag, yes. Crag was saying first 1K is pretty easy to get really early in game. Pretty much by the time you're level 10, you can have, a decent amount above 1,000 gold. And I mean, you can see it's Labor Day weekend, and a lot of people are out of town. They're not even going to be playing beta and stuff. And we have 50 plus people in the channel seeing what's going on, and that's just a fraction of what we got going on. So it should be fairly easy to get that gold on the first day. And I mean, if we can get a territory day one, That's fucking huge. That is some big dick energy for sure. Also, what Funky said, farmers are welcome in wars and late game PvE, PvP. Yes, absolutely. Just because you are a farmer, and if that's what you want to do, that doesn't mean that you miss out on the other aspects of the game because you are a farmer. Again, I know that a lot of you guys haven't been with us for these future betas and all of that stuff, but the guys that have been with us from the other betas, we did our best to get everybody in wars. I'm pretty proud of the fact that Toast, we always took our Toast people and we always took faction, and I can't think of any wars that we took any other color people in there. It's possible that we had like one or two because there was like server maintenance right before one of our wars, but we absolutely cater to our guys 100%. So just because you're a farmer and crafter, that doesn't mean you're going to miss that aspect. Like, we will get there, we'll get you in there. Just express the interest to me and be like, hey, I want to get into this war, or hey, I really want to defend First Light because that's my home, or whatever. Absolutely, we'll make that happen. It is not a problem whatsoever. I don't want people to think that they can't talk to me or they can't bring stuff up to, you know, our attention. I have no intention on leading this company like a dictatorship. It never works out in any game. Anybody doing that kind of stuff, it just doesn't work out. It's not conducive to a fun gaming environment and to build something bigger. So I'm not going to be in a situation where I'm just telling you what we're doing or anything like that. Obviously, in this situation, I'm explaining our goals and what we're shooting for. But as far as like upgrades go and territories and all that, I mean, we have some ideas, but I will always take whatever you guys say into consideration. If you want to message me or tag me or whatever, I work from home, so I'm on my computer fairly often. If you want to tag me or talk to me, I'll make the time. So, you know, if you need
Cooper
something,
or myself, like we're pretty much always around. So we're always open to talking with people about their concerns, about ideas that they have, anything.
server selection on beta, we are going Gemina server fresh. We're going to type up these notes as well in here, but Gemina server is the one that we're going. So that is one that we checked out during beta. It has a really good faction balance, and it has a really good territory balance when we looked at it. So everything seems to be fairly even. I understand the argument of like, oh, Toast is fairly large, so we're going to somewhat unbalance it. That's okay. We want to make sure that we are going on a server that is fairly balanced across the board, because again, we do have a lot of people that want to farm and craft and everything. So it's not like we're going into a server with 400 hardcore PvPers, right? Like a lot of PvPers, but then we have a lot of people that are wanting to do farming and crafting and everything like that. So Gemina server is where we're going to start for beta. And then we are going to a different server for launch, because we don't want to give out all of our cards and our secrets for the server we're going, right? We don't want to do all of our crazy cool stuff on Gemina and then go back to Gemina and people are like, oh, here we go, Toast, we know where they're going, we know where they're going to start upgrading, we know how to counter them. We don't want that. We want launch to be really fucking cool. So we are using this beta to test all of our stuff and see how we're able to implement it, and then we're going to do it again on launch, just more efficient there. Again, along the lines of people like talking to me and me making time and stuff like that, again, I will make time for you if you want to talk to me, by all means. We have officers and consults set going into beta and into launch, but with that being said, if that is something that you are interested in and that is part of the game for you, or maybe you're not even considering it right now, but you start having a really good time and you're like, hey, I want to be an officer or an admin or something like that, absolutely bring that up to me. I will never shoot anybody down on that. If, you know, I know that some people, this is their first MMO, like this is their first like hardcore PvP game or whatever. So you may not think about wanting to be an officer or whatever right now, but if that is something later on down the line that you think is something that you'd be interested in, absolutely hit me up, hit any one of our officers or consults up, and we will talk about it. It doesn't It doesn't necessarily need to be PvP oriented or crafting oriented or whatever. If you are like, hey, I want to be an officer that organizes faction events or toast events or whatever, absolutely, I'm totally game. We can figure it out. I just want to know if you are interested in that, and then we can find something for you to do. We can like figure out something cool for you to do to benefit the Discord, the company, the faction, all of that. The one of the last things, and obviously I'll answer questions as I'm reading them, but Kadeen is putting together a Google Doc. I know that a lot of you guys have been linking information in the channels. Kadeen is spearheading this Google Doc, so she'll briefly go over kind of what we're looking at, but it is a pretty slick looking Google Doc right now.
Oh, thank you. So I noticed you guys linking a lot of websites, YouTube videos, charts, graphs, etc. from previous betas, and I wanted to put it all in one place. Essentially, I know I have a couple monitors. I know a lot of you guys do as well. So when I start the game, I'm going to have this Google Doc up on one monitor as I play on another monitor. It just has a lot of information in it, a lot of charts, graphs, places to go, tips and tricks, things like that. So I am putting this all together. I am on the last couple of pages of it. The latest it's going to be posted and pinned will be on the 7th, because I definitely want to make sure it's ready for the open beta, because I'm sure there's going to be a lot more information that you guys find that you think would be useful to add as well. So it will be posted in the resources text channel, resources and research, and I will pin it in that channel as well. So keep an eye out for that. Also, if you have a lot of really cool information, websites, graphs, YouTube videos, just lots of New World information, just link it to me in a Discord message. And if I don't have it in there already, I will put it in there. So it's really, really well organized and whatnot. So I put a lot of time and effort into it. I hope you guys like it. But I will be posting it within the next couple of days. And if you have anything to add to it, just shoot me a message.
We'll have a lot of you guys have linked stuff that we're putting it on there. It is not our own YouTube videos or anything like that. It is
We are giving credit, obviously.
Right. So yeah, there's just a bunch of different videos and information and stuff on there. So they'll have multiple tabs and everything, like Katie's saying, that you can go through. It's just going to be really nice to kind of have it all in one place, really accessible to check it out and all of that stuff. Google Doc is not out just yet, Galdo. It will be out in a couple of days. It's pretty much done. We're just doing the last bit of proofing on it, and then we will put it in the channels for you to be able to see. Speaking of the channels that you're able to see, one of the really important channels that I need you guys to at least check out, if you don't click on anything right now, that is totally fine. But it is the Select Roles for Launch channel. If you don't know what kind of weapons or professions you're doing or whatever, that's fine. By all means, that is totally fine. You do not have to select any. You don't only have to select 1 or 2 weapons. If you're like, hey, I'm going to level up 4 weapons all like simultaneously, please select those. It is going to be really, really nice for us as leaders to be able to cater these wars to what we need. So if I see that you are capable in 3 different weapons, you're that much more likely to get that stuff settled for us. So if I go up and I'm like, hey, Kragzo, I saw that you have a life staff, great axe, and hatchet or whatever. Can you bring your life staff and hatchet or whatever? It makes it really easy for us to cater that and make sure that we are getting the most efficient war as possible. Like we have our strategies from beta that have worked out really well, and we want to make sure that we're doing that just more efficient this time. So we absolutely want to go into beta and launch just fucking kicking ass. So if you can select those, that's great. There's also a section there for leveling up with PvP on and PvP off. Again, PvP on gives you the most benefit. You're going to get the most from leveling with PvP on. However, I know that is not everybody's jam. I get it. If you want to level up with PvP off, that is totally fine. I get it. Maybe you want to just farm hemp all day while you're leveling. That is totally fine. If you're not looking for a group and you're just going to do your own thing, or you have your own group of friends that you're leveling up with, totally fine too. You don't need to select either of those. But if you are looking for a group, select one of those so that it's really easy for people to look and put a group together, or they can reach out to you, or whatever the case is. So Elon asks, since we have so many people, we'll be playing several companies because of that. Will be signups or sorts to determine who goes into what company? In my experience, we've played many games with a lot of people like this, and they had smaller caps for guilds and everything. I don't see it being a huge issue of putting people where they want to go. What I mean is, I think that most people are going to fall into the spot that they want to be. So, for example, farmers and crafters are usually going to want to fall in with the other farmers and crafters that they can talk with, they can team up with, they can do all of that stuff. PvPers are going to want to stick together with a lot of PvPers, etc. So for the most part, I don't see that being an issue. It hasn't been an issue in any other game. However, if that is something that you do care about and you're like, hey, I want to make sure that I'm here, absolutely send me a message. We'll get it done. I'm not going to force somebody to go somewhere they don't want. I'm not going to force somebody to play the game in a way they don't want to. At the end of the day, it is a game for everybody. We're all trying to have a good time. We're not running this company to be a fucking world domination here, right? Like, we are trying to be as efficient as possible going into it, and we want to make a name for ourselves, of course. But at the end of the day, my goal is to make sure that everybody's having a good time. Everybody enjoys being in Toast, and we take some land and kick some ass in the meantime. So that is my goal. That's what I want to see happen for everybody. So I'm not going to put you guys into a situation where you are not enjoying yourselves. So if you want to be in a certain company or you want to take on a certain role, that's totally fine. Message me, let me know. But in my experience, the people that are going to be going super hard in the first week or two, we're going to have spots for you guys. I mean, everybody that wants a spot and wants to kick some ass, we'll get it done. I don't foresee it being a huge issue. It hasn't in the past, so if it does, again, we'll make sure that you guys get taken care of. I'm not going to put you somewhere that you don't want to be, so that's totally fine. Can we add world first? I just keep
pinning questions and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say that'd be great, so I can look at those. Let's see. Can we add world first or server first as Toast goals? Yes. So for a lot of you guys that don't know, a lot of us were coming from Last Oasis, World of Warcraft. There's a lot of you guys from Arcade, all of that stuff. World of Warcraft, we did World First race. We were competing on that. We were competing for top server placements. Actually, that's a good segue into the next thing I was going to say. So, yes, that is the goal. We always want to be competitive, not at the cost of your guys' enjoyment of the game. I'm never going to, be so competitive with us that people are just not having a super good time. Because of our World First race and pushes and stuff on World of Warcraft and these other games, we do have sponsors for our community and for our Discord. So going towards the launch of the game, not beta, but going in towards the launch of New World, we will be doing giveaways of microphones, of cameras, keyboards, mice, all of that stuff. We have some Blue Yetis that we're going to be giving away for launch. We've had DX Racer and chairs, gaming chairs that we've given away, gaming desks, all sorts of stuff. We have sponsors here, so that is going to be one of the things that we do for launch. Some are going to be general giveaways that we do. Some are going to be like most gold donated. Some are going to be like the first person to hit 60 in the company, or maybe like the first couple people to hit 60 in the company. So yes, we will do prizes, we'll do giveaways, all sorts of stuff. I have a few brand new Microsoft webcams and mics and stuff to give away. With that being said, if you are, I know that we have a lot of tech people in here. If you are wanting to do something like that, like we have a couple people that have donated stuff to do giveaways as well. If you have something that you want to do or give away, or you wanna host something for the community, that's great. Absolutely, we are all for that. So we have people that work at gaming companies. We have a couple people here that work for EA Games. They provide us with stuff as well. So if later on down the line you're like, hey, I got some keyboards or something like I want to do a giveaway with, absolutely, we'll post in there and give you credit for it and all of that stuff. So it'll be pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about that. Do we have main crafters processors selected, or are we playing the market at the beginning? We don't have crafters processors selected yet. That is the goal. We have that select roles for launch channel mainly for that, so we can figure out what we want to do. Clayton is one of our officers. He is going to be in charge of a lot of that farmer stuff. So we will make sure that we are doing that in the future as well. You don't need to choose a profession strictly based on what we need, really. Like, we have enough people that we are spread out across the board as far as professions go. So we don't have anybody specifically selected for that yet, but as we go through beta and as we have more people select those roles, that is the idea, is to get that all set up and make sure that we're being really efficient on that. What roles are currently lacking for wars? Right now, nothing super hard. The two that are going to be really, really beneficial for wars are going to be Sword and Shield and Life Staff. It looks like we're pretty good on both those. Actually, those are like two of our highest numbers right now, so that is super great to have.
The biggest thing to remember for those of you who haven't done a war in game yet is that there is no need to actually kill people in the war. You just want to take the point, which the Sword and Shield is obviously big on defense, and the healers are big on keeping them alive. So that's kind of why those are the two most desired roles for wars. If you find yourself not knowing what to take as a secondary weapon, start leveling up a life staff.
Cal, though, what we're saying, like, obviously kill people, but what we're saying is, like, technically, yeah, if you have your entire group of 50 people on a point and they only have 49 people on a point, you're technically going to be gaining ground on that point. So obviously this is not the idea, but if you theoretically had 50 healers all on one point and they could only get like 20 of their people on it and you just literally were bomb healing everybody, theoretically you would be able to grab all the points with that strategy. That's not what we want to do, but that's basically the point. And this game has body blocking on it, so obviously, you know, for those of you that played, you can't just zip right through somebody. It doesn't work like that. So when you have a ton of people on the point, not like, it's hard for other people to get on the point as well. So when we are taking points, obviously this is like war strategy. I'm not going to get super into it right now, but when you are taking points and you're doing the offense and defense and everything, you want to be in that point. You want to make sure you're not just out on the edges because people can push you out and they can gravity well you, all of that stuff. But again, we do have war strategies with like our tanks and our vanguards, our ranged healers, mages, all of that stuff. So at the end of the day, it is really whoever has more people on that point are the ones that are going to cap it. So Splint, to answer your question for roles, tanks and heals are always needed for the most part. I would say probably right now it would be nice to have some more ranged. It's really nice to have those muskets and everything, especially on defense that are on walls, just picking off siege weapons and everything. It is really nice to have that. Not, you know, we don't want 1,000 of them, but having that leveled up and everything, there is some serious damage that you can do by picking people off walls. Any LFG channels so we can easily find groups to level and gather? Yes, we are going to put more channels as we get closer to beta and launch. So right now you can see we have some channels that are like PvE Monarchs, PvP Windsward, all of that stuff. We are going to have more channels for everybody to talk, level up in, group up in, do whatever,
So,
all sorts of stuff.
I rearranged things to do that you can see the names. Those are all the starting areas. So no matter where you start, whether you want to level in PvP or PvE, and if you don't have a party to level with, but you would like one, pop into the channel that corresponds to the area you started in, and I am sure there will be people in there as well who are also looking to group up. There's also in the roles channel an option for selecting yes or no as far as whether or not you want to level with PvP on or off. And if you still can't find somebody, look through the reactions on that. There's going to be a lot of people wanting to group. And as far as the roles channel goes, at some point here, we're going to be corresponding role reactions to different channels that will open up. So if you react that you are interested in stone cutting, a stone cutting text channel will pop up to where you guys can just nerd the fuck out about stone cutting or whatever your jam is.
Post more day resource needs of the company. Yeah, so that will kind of fall into our profession crafting stuff. So we will have an updated list of basically what the needs are. So I know that some of the farmers and crafters are like, oh, well, what if I'm farming 100,000 hemp and then all of a sudden we don't need that? That's never been a situation. We have Google Docs and everything that we're able to confirm with that and keep up to date resources on that. And then obviously when you own two towns, you're able to have that immediate transfer back and forth. So it's kind of like having two banks and everything like that. So yes, we'll have an updated list and resource tracker of that to make it really easy. I know Gemini is a server realm, but what area in the world will we be focusing on in the start? If you are asking what town we are taking, that's different than kind of where we're going to be questing, because there is a way to swap the area that you're questing. Like you can drop a quest and then immediately go to a different area and start questing there. I don't know if that's going to be in the game for beta or for launch, because it was kind of a bug in the last beta. So I don't know if they're going to fix that or if they're going to keep that. I'm not sure if that's going to be the situation or not going into beta. As far as territories go, if that's what you're asking about, I am not super I'm not super dead set on what we take for beta. Launch, we definitely have some ideas, especially what we want to level up first as far as like workshop and everything goes. We're kind of leaning towards like Monarchs or Windsward or something like that for beta. But really at the end of the day, it is, whatever we can take, we're going to take as quickly as humanly possible. We have a very limited time frame for beta, so we're going to take what we can as quickly as we can and then go from there. But launch will definitely be a little bit different. But to answer your question, it will most likely be like Monarchs or Windsward. Those are just two really good areas, especially for Covenant as we're questing through. So
if you are confused as far as how to change your starting area, there's a video pinned in our New World General chat. Entity posted it. I pinned it. It's a great video. If you're looking to level with somebody else and you guys spawned in different areas, that's kind of how you're going to meet up. So take a look at that when you can.
Let's see. We're going to have build guides for people who are new to this type of game. Yes, TG, absolutely. That is going to be, the Google Doc is going to be an ongoing thing that we are constantly updating and fixing and changing. So yes, absolutely, that is going to be something that we are providing, build guides, all of that stuff. You can also see that we have a channel called Resources and Research. That is something to where not a lot of people can type in, so you're not getting a bunch of flooded messages. Like if you're looking at the meeting room discussion, a lot of messages are flying through. Resources and Research, select roles for launch, all of that stuff is pretty still. So you can look at builds and all of that stuff and see how we're going. So
there'll be a lot of information in the Google Doc as well that I'm going to post over the next couple of days. So lots of stuff for new players, people who are new to MMOs, people who are new to this one in particular, build ideas, like charts out the ass for like if you're the kind of person who wants to get into the nitty gritty of a build. It's definitely for you.
Malatesto, how will we give our cooked goods, etc. to the PvP company if we have one company for crafters and one for PvP? As of right now, there is no guild bank. So I am super hopeful that they add something like that. So regardless, it's gonna be kind of an annoying situation right off the bat until they add something like that. They have said in their forums that they plan on adding something like that. So I guess we'll just kind of see. That's going to be a situation that we play by ear. But as of right now, what we did on beta is that we would just have those traded to a singular person, and then we would just divvy them out like that. And that was fairly easy. So, for example, Clay would be handling farming resource stuff. So it's easy to just trade him that or send it to him. As of right now, there's not a mail system. But again, that's something that they've talked about implementing as far as going into launch and all that. So I am hopeful for a guild bank. I am hopeful for a mail system. That is, ideally, that's the situation.
Lyra, I'm definitely gonna chat with you a little bit more about how your guys' system was put up and everything, because I know that when you were doing alpha and beta, you were sort of a part of a community that was really large as well. So I could definitely learn from how you guys did things, and then Clay and I can sit in and talk together about that, so we can be a little bit more organized with the early buy orders and the interaction between the PvPers and the PvEers.
Bork, I know you were saying, what about regards to vassal/sister companies? Just like in beta, anybody that we are working close with, it is not my goal for Toast to run everything, right? Like, obviously, my goal is to take territory immediately and make sure that we're benefiting from that and stuff. But that is not our end goal. Our end goal is to work with other companies, work with our sister/vassal companies, and helping them control land if that's what they want to do. Some of the companies we've worked with don't give a shit about holding land, and that's fine too. But that would be a situation more of kind of discussing that with our officers, and then whatever sister company or vassal company we're working with, and kind of going over what they're looking for. If they're like, hey, we're looking for support in wars, and that's all we're really looking for, absolutely, that's easy enough. If they're like, hey, we're looking to hold this land and this is what we want to do, great, we can work with that too. So that's more of like a one-on-one situation where we figure out their wants and their needs, and then how that's going to be mutually beneficial for both groups. So if they want to hold land, or if they want to do specific aspects of the game, that's great. That's definitely something that we can figure out with officers of each company and all of that stuff. But yeah, Lara, we had a similar situation like that, system with buy orders and stuff in WoW. So it was a lot easier to work with that because we had guild banks and we had all of our chats linked and everything like that. So as of right now, we have specific Google Docs that are linked directly to Discord with different webhooks that we have. So you can link like YouTube's, and you can link specific Google Sheets to specific channels in Discord. So we have that, but we will see kind of how that goes with launch. So it worked out pretty well for beta, but as we go into launch, we are going to have more people, and it's going to be, it's going to be a more intense situation. So I'm sure that we can do something that is going to be, work right off the bat, but by no means we're not perfect. I'm sure that whatever we decide to start with, we can fix it. Like, we can make it better, we can become more efficient. I don't think that we're going to be perfect right off the bat. So I am always open to critiques or opinions or whatever. If you think that we're doing something wrong, or that we could do something better than how we're doing it, let me know. I mean, you don't need to call me an idiot or something in chat. That's great. But if you have an opinion on something and you want to talk to me about it, I'm all ears. I know that we could be doing something better than how we are. I fully understand that. I'm absolutely open to those ideas.
As far as like signifying a main profession over over just one that you have, Malatesto, I'm not sure if you are interested in making things for the community. You can definitely send us a message, or Clay, and we're going to be having Google Docs on Google Docs as far as like who's going to be racing to 200 for armor smith or weaponsmith or whatever. armoring, so that we know who, like, what direction to point people when they're looking for a particular piece. So I am sure that we are going to be looking at a way to track those people who get to 200 first and who are willing to sort of branch out and make things for others. Just kind of keep an eye out for it. As of right now, in our roles channel, there's no way to signify if that's what you're maining versus that's just kind of like a profession that you have.
How though? Yes, we are. We will have officers and stuff set up. I'm telling you right now, I'm taking the first 2 weeks off of of launch. I'm actually taking the week off for beta too, so you know, no repeats. We'll be alright. But I mean, even so, we're not going to run into that situation again. Officers, consults, all of that will have the ability to make sure they're doing that. 2 weeks off for launch and a week off for beta.
All right, so we have gone through all the info we wanted to get through. A lot of this has been just answering your guys' questions and whatnot while everybody's around, so that we don't have a repeat of it. Does anybody else have any burning, pressing questions before we let you guys go enjoy your holiday weekend?
Again, I really appreciate you guys popping in, going over. I know it's a holiday weekend. Will not schedule for Christmas weekend, so don't worry. I was late. Can you recap the entire meeting? Bob, I do have a VOD for you though, so don't worry. I will post the VOD, and we'll have all of that set. So don't even worry about it. Does Toast provide therapists for New World Game Addiction? Nope, because I will be there too, and it's not a problem if you don't admit it.
They provide them. It's just that the prescription is more New World.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, I know that people are looking for Steam names for people to play games and stuff, especially after beta and launch. I will add a channel for people to put their Steam names in there and for asking to play other games and everything like that. I know we have a lot of League players, a lot of Apex, Humankind, all of that stuff. So we'll get that done. We'll add another channel for Steam stuff for people to find people to play games and everything. But yeah, I'll have the VOD. I'll upload it tonight or tomorrow morning, and I'll post it in our chat. So if you guys want to take a look, it'll be answers to all the questions and all that.
I feel like it'd be a good idea to just do like a large app message with some of the information for the beta specifically. Like, I know everyone in this meeting knows where, but maybe just at New World people.
I have the notes for the meeting that I'll post and pin in the meeting one, but I think as far as server selection for beta goes, we're gonna type up a short couple of sentences and probably tag everyone and pin it as well.
Yeah.
Just because I know that what server are we gonna be on is gonna be the most common question on the day of.
Yeah. So we'll have both. We'll have it written out, and then we'll have the VOD as well. And then obviously as we're going into beta, we'll make that announcement and everything too, so people are good to go and familiar and all that. And then we'll need to have that anyways, because obviously we're going to be having people join us prior to that, and there's friends of friends of friends and all that stuff. So it'll definitely be good to have everyone ping for that. But I appreciate it, guys. We will have the video up. We'll have the meeting notes for you. I really appreciate all of you guys popping in. Again, I know it's a holiday weekend, so I appreciate you guys taking the time. I know some of you have family over and all that stuff, but I really appreciate it. We'll get the video. We'll get the notes for you. If you guys have any other questions, this channel specifically, the meeting room discussion, eventually we're going to just clear that out.
Yep.
So
For the next meeting.
if you have, we will have another meeting prior to launch.
The full launch, yeah.
You're right. So, probably about the same time, probably, 4 or 5 days before launch, we'll have a meeting and basically go over the same stuff, kind of anything that we learned that we're going to change for launch, and also have all of our new people in there as well. So again, I appreciate you guys popping in. Really means a lot, and we'll have a fucking blast on beta.
Oh my god, the hype is real. The
I
hype
know.
is so real, especially after the meeting.
Hey, thanks, guys.
Looking
Thank
forward
you.
to it.
Hell
Thanks.
yeah, guys.
Yeah, thank
Oh,
you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good night, guys.
You too.
No,
Yeah,
you.
good night.